It was established in 1978 by Gabriel Nahas. He studied half a dozen different cannabinoids, including CBD, and found that it was toxic to the genetic material of the cells. You can work out what the cannabinoid trends are by state across the US. There are close associations with cannabinoid exposure and rates of birth defects and cancer and these things that that follow the trends of cannabigerol, cannabidiol, delta-9 THC across the US by state. There was some very powerful work looking at cannabis exposure clinically, published in the last couple of years, which showed that a whole bunch of diseases, heart attack, stroke, blood pressure, that are related to aging were accelerated in people who smoke cannabis, including chronic disease and acute disease and emergency room presentations. Now that generically is a picture of aging, and aging is part of the spectrum of genotoxicity. The immune system is one of the main effectors or causes of aging because it damages the body. It's very fascinating, and cannabis feeds directly into that story. When it comes to cannabis and the cell, cannabis damages the hardware of the genes and the software of, it's called the epigenome. Epi is upon. So upon the genes, upon the DNA, we all know what that looks like, spiral helix, but it's got little switches that turn it on, and that's supported by proteins and RNA around it, which is the very complex epigenetic machinery, but it's all run by little switches on the DNA. And cannabis damages everything. It damages the proteins, the histones that run it. It damages the DNA, called DNA methylation. Now, then you come to a very powerful experiment from, I think it's Harvard Medical School, the aging lab at Harvard Medical School, David Sinclair. And what they did is they took cells and they just induced a handful of DNA breaks in each cell. When the DNA breaks, it has to be repaired. You have to repair your DNA. And to do that, it takes the epigenetic machinery and rearranges it, right? And that is what causes aging. Heightened immune reactivity is well established as being part of the aging response. Now, what hasn't been understood until recent years is that one of the most potent stimuli of innate immune activation is actually DNA damage, particularly DNA damage in the cytoplasm of the cell. Cannabis damages the DNA hardware. It causes DNA breaks, single breaks, double breaks, complex breaks, and it also damages the software. So damaged DNA by itself stimulates the immune system, and the immune system then drives aging. Think about like Fort Knox, right? Imagine if all the soldiers broke out of Fort Knox and they just started shooting people randomly. That's going to damage in the community around it, right? That's what an out-of-control immune system does. Do you understand? Because it's designed to seek and destroy. And when it gets out of control, it just wears the body out, literally destroys the body. And that causes aging. You see it in virtually all the diseases that are age-related. So you see it in all the vascular diseases, right? Because they say you're as old as your arteries. So that's where the arterial wall is damaged. And that's going to look like stroke and heart attack and peripheral vascular disease. Osteoporosis, which, as you know, is an age-related disease, that's largely inflammatory. Virtually all diseases of the brain and the central nervous system have an important immune component. Dementia does, and it's the same thing in the brain. So dementia and Parkinson's disease and motor neuron disease, virtually any disease you like to think of has an important part in the brain. So cirrhosis, which is, and kidney disease and heart disease. It's called fibrosis or scarring in any of the major organs: liver, kidney, heart, lungs. Fibrosis rises with age, and that's an age-related thing. Virtually all of the stereotypical disorders of aging have an important immune component, and that's why accelerating aging is an engine which basically blows the wheels off, and cannabis feeds directly into the basic mechanics of the aging process.